So that's the difference between average and normalised power and what it's trying to tell us as a metric. Morning all, hope everybody's well this morning. I want to take a few minutes this morning just to talk about a particular metric. We're going to talk about average power and normalised power, what the difference is, how they're calculated and what they are telling us. There does seem to be some confusion around normalised power. I've had it described to me as the amount of power we're producing only when we're pedaling, an average power with the zeros taken out, the amount of time we've spent over FTP. They are all mistakes, they're common misconceptions. So let's just dive into the differences between average and normalised power. Okay, so the difference between normalised and average power. Let's look at a couple of quick examples. Okay, right, so first example, imagine this is your power, average power here. Right, and this example is going to be a 25-mile time trial or 40k triathlon leg, for example. And this is completed in 60 minutes with average power, let's write the average here, average power of 200 watts. Okay, so we've got 200 watts over 60 minutes. The next example, again, a statistical average of 200 watts, okay, and this is a 60-minute circuit or crit race, okay. So both the durations are 60 minutes, both the average power is 200 watts. Same ride, right? No, it's not the same ride. And this is where normalised power is our go-to metric. Now to explain that in a little bit more detail. So we've got a steady state, 60-minute effort with average 200 watts. However, your wattage, your actual delivered wattage is over a time trial going to ebb and flow, maybe a bit of a peak at the turn. Okay, this might be 300 watts, these little peaks here, maybe pushing into a headwind or up a little bit of a drag. This might be 230, this might be 220, okay. Example one. Example two, we've got a crit race. And remember, same average power, didn't write in average, same average power over an hour, okay. But those of you that have ridden crits or road racing, circuit racing, you all know that your power delivery is a lot more on off, right? Your teammate goes up the road and you decide to be against team orders and chase him down. This might be 800 watts. There's a sprint lap in the middle of prime. This might be 1100 watts. Okay, here we're coasting into a corner, we're braking into a corner. This might be 10 watts. This might be 20 watts. Okay, so the variability of that ride is very different. Okay, what normalised power does is it looks at these larger peaks, okay? So this effort at being at 8, 9, 1100 watts, it looks at the effort that it takes to get to these higher peaks in watts, and it gives these efforts a higher weighting within the average. So what it then does is moves up this statistical average, and we may have a normalised power on this ride, for example's sake, 275, okay? This ride, because we're not putting in these bigger efforts, our normalised power is going to be, say for example, say 220 watts. Now we're looking at two 60-minute rides, both with an average power of 200, but when you look at the normalised, there's 55 watts difference, okay? So normalised power is calculated with a statistical average with a higher weighting to these accelerations and top-end efforts. What normalised power is doing is it's estimating the true physiological cost of that hour on a bike, taking into account this variability. So that's the difference between average and normalised power and what it's trying to tell us as a metric. If you'd like to discuss metrics any further, if you've got any questions, drop us a DM, drop us an email, and we'll have a conversation. Thanks for watching.